Hello and welcome back to the channel.
Hello.
We set off on our grand tour of Northern and Central Europe about 3 weeks ago. If you watched the previous video, you know that we had this trip planned leading up to a big celebration for us towards the end of the month, which you'll have to wait and see a little bit more about that. And it was a bit of an ambition of ours to go to a number of cities that we haven't been to, a couple of countries we haven't been to before, Poland and the Czech Republic. And we set ourselves up, planned this, and we've been wanting to do it for a while, and we thought this was the time to do it.
So after we set off we got the boat over from Harwich and into the Hook of Holland. We drove straight through Holland, didn't stop, and our first stop was at Bremen in Germany. We then went from Bremen to Potsdam, from Potsdam to Berlin. We then went from, I'm going to get this wrong, you know that, don't you? We then went from Berlin to Poznan, Poznan to Krakow, Krakow to Auschwitz. And then from Auschwitz, we dropped down into the Czech Republic. Yep. Is that right? Yeah, we went to Prague in the Czech Republic, and we've now landed in, we've been to Vienna, and we've now arrived in Graz, which is in the southern sort of state of Austria. Yep. So we're halfway through the tour. Plenty more to come yet. Yeah, we did say that we would do specific videos around each of these areas when we get back. We've collected loads of footage, both video and still camera work, and street camera work. And if you've been following us on Instagram channels, I'll put the links below. Then you'll be in touch with us as to what we've been doing and where we've been. But it's really been a real special trip, hasn't it? It's been wonderful. The highlights of it really are about trying to work out the different cultural differences between the countries we've been through. And the different cuisine and the different architecture and the different buildings, currencies,
because they're not all in the
euro.
Even though they're in the EU, don't use the euro. Yeah. We're talking about Poland and the Czech Republic in particular, and working out different road structures and different requirements in terms of environmental systems and toll boxes has all been really interesting, and we'll get into detail with those as we show you the specific videos. But one of the things that's really been a success is public transport. Oh, it's been wonderful. I've been blown away by in all the countries we've been in, the trams, the trains, the frequency of buses, the fact that in near enough all these cities we've visited, you can hire scooters to get around on, you can hire bikes. There's so many ways to get around these cities. And of course, we've taken Poppy with us. We've not wanted to be stuck anywhere, and we've been able to take Poppy, and we've predominantly used trains to get in and out of the cities that we've been into. And as long as Poppy has been on a lead, and the rules, when you do your research online before you go, say they need to be muzzled. So Poppy's always been muzzled. Some of the local dogs or the people that use it more frequently haven't done that, but we've always complied with the rules of the country that we're in because we're visitors. Yeah. It doesn't seem as if it's rigidly enforced with the muzzle, but I think it's just good to have one in your pocket. Yeah. But we've got a soft muzzle, so we can still give her treats and she can still, you know. Yeah, and we've practiced with it before we set off, so she's quite used to it now. She is. It's very important, this, for us, because there are times when we were in Spain and Portugal, as much as we liked it, where we felt a bit trapped on occasions on the site because we couldn't get on the public transport system in the way that we wanted to, because they don't allow dogs on. So this has been absolutely fantastic for us, and they're absolutely spotless, clean everywhere. It's been absolutely amazing. Yeah. And I mean, it's hard to say where the highlight's been. But because they've all been great spots. But I think one of the big revelations has been Poland. Stand by for Poland. Not just because it's a proud, rich in history country, but the Poles were very welcoming and very friendly. Very friendly. Yeah. A really, really nice people. We were bowled over with them, really. And yeah, it worked. And they're a country on the move. Everything's new. It's been built. I read that they're going to be wealthier than the UK by 2030 on the current trajectory. It seems to be a country that's doing really well. And having visited, you can see why. You can see why. Yeah. They've got everything lined up. They've got a plan. They've got the people behind the plan. It seems to be working well. I mean, what do we know? It's only our assessment of it, but it seems to be great, you know. And they're really, really nice people. But Berlin was fantastic as well. I've always wanted to go to Berlin. It's but again, I don't want to tell you too much. You're gonna have to watch the video for that one. But we just talk about sites we booked. We booked 2 sites.
Yeah. We only booked Berlin and Prague for 2 very specific reasons. One, because both places were in the ideal place for us for public transport, for visiting all the places we wanted to go, and we didn't want to miss. We didn't want to arrive there to find that there was no room and then not be able to find anywhere else. So Berlin and Prague. Berlin, it was in a safe location. We felt very secure there. It took all the facilities we needed, and we only had to cross the road to catch the U-Bahn or the S-Bahn to get into Berlin, where we want and all the places we wanted to visit. Yeah. And the same at Prague. It was in an ideal location, and all we needed to do was actually get the water taxi just across the river, and we were straight into the old town of Prague, which made visiting these 2 major capital cities, I have to say, ridiculously easy.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
so
Driving's been really quite good. The road surfaces are fantastic. In Poland, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Where we just sort of couldn't fault it at all. Some of the best roads we've driven on in Europe. And obviously Germany and Austria, pretty good. Czech Republic seems to be having a large programme of
There's a lot of roadworks.
And you can see why it needs, and they're getting on with it. But we did travel through quite a bit of roadworks in the Czech Republic, but I'm sure they'll get it sorted. It's just sometimes these things have to be done, don't they? So it works really. But in terms of currencies, we've had to deal with that as well, haven't we?
Yes. The euro, it makes the euro seem relatively straightforward. So when you go to Poland, it is the zloty.
Yeah.
And we managed to get to a cash machine just as we crossed into the Polish border. So we managed to get some zloty in case we needed them straight away when you arrive on a site. And it works out, I think it's £1 is 5 zloty.
Yeah.
And then when you cross into the Czech Republic, they use, I think it's called the koruna, but they call it crowns, which is £1, I think is round about 25 crowns. So when you go into the supermarket or when you go to pay for something and they want 2,000 crowns, you sort of have to have a gulp and then sort of work it out and think, oh yeah, that's however much it is. So it does make you, it does focus your mind a little bit when you're shopping.
From being a Yorkshireman, I did have a couple of twinges in the wallet on a couple of occasions until I worked it out. But
so we just took out, I think, only about £20-30 in each of the currencies we were there, just in case we needed it for things like tips or for bus fare or train fares or whatever. Yeah. But to be honest, just about everywhere we've been able to pay by card, and we've just needed a little bit of change in our pockets. So we've not needed to sort of convert lots of money, then try and convert it back again. So
incidentally, the interesting thing is that the times where we've come across cash only have both been in the more established countries of Austria and Germany. Yeah. No problem at all in the Czech Republic or in Poland. It's just all very easy to deal with. Yeah. And on that, one of the things as well we'll get into when we do the videos is the different systems for the toll roads and the vignette systems if you're under 3.5 tonnes and the other systems if you're heavier like us. They differ from country to country. But again, the Poles are leading the way with that. They've got their new system on the app is just one step ahead of even the Swiss system, which is also an app-based system. And whereas Austria and the Czech Republic are still working on boxes that you put on your windscreen. Yeah. That's for over 3.5 tonne. If you're under 3.5 tonne, you can still use a vignette system. So it's relatively easy to do that. But the difference with these is that you can do it all online and jack it all up. So it's pretty good, really. But we'll get into the details with that and explain it as we go. Weather's been kind to us, hasn't it?
It has. We've only had probably a couple of days of inclement weather, and we've managed. I think Potsdam was the only one where we were sort of fully waterproofed up, and but it never spoilt the day for us. So we've been very lucky with the weather all the way around.
Yeah, because we've been looking at the UK and seeing people getting stuck in fields and things, and thinking, well, the weather's obviously more to the west of Europe than it is to the east and central Europe, and we've been grateful for that because a couple of times we have been on grass. Yes. In fact, we're on grass now.
Yeah, we are.
Some of the, believe it or not, 2 of the Stelpats we've just recently been on are grass based, and but the soil seems to be able to take it, and it's not been a problem so far. So we've not seen many Brits.
No, we have been on the majority, if not all, the sites we've been on. We've been the only Brits on the Stellplatz. The one at Vienna, there was 160 something vans on it, and we were the only Brits there. Yeah. We have bumped into the same people in 2 locations, at Krakow, and then we went to Auschwitz, and we were obviously following the same route. But since we left Auschwitz, we've not seen any other Brits on any of the sites we've been on. So
and something else which means more to us than it probably will to you, but is that we've noticed an awful lot of Naus motorhomes.
Yes.
One of the things is that we're very happy with our Naus. We love it, in fact, but there aren't that many in the UK, and so you wonder about whether, when you're buying the vehicle, is it how substantial is the dealer network? But there are loads and loads and loads of Naus, and their sister brand, which is the Weinsberg. And we knew it was a big manufacturer because it makes the Tabot caravan as well, which is a big deal for European caravans. So absolutely. I think that's about it, is it?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
We just wanted to give you a bit of a heads up. We were conscious that we hadn't published a video for 3 weeks. When we get back, we'll get back to weekly publishing, and it'll start with the first video in Bremen, which I've done a little bit of work on. But we'll get that rolling. It's been absolutely fantastic. I really would recommend this road trip. It's probably one of the better trips we've been on.
I think it's been it's been immense.
No,
but
very good.
The cities have been fantastic, and I've just liked the change in every single one of them. It's been an absolute pleasure to do this trip up to now.
Yeah. So I think we'll leave it at there. Martin out.
Helen out.